Ladies in red. Ladies in red. Ladies in red. Discuss the latest news, just fans giving their views. This channel is red. They see the bar and raise it, plus they rep for the ladies. Trust it's red. See my voices in football. Red. If you want to talk up, it's a red channel for me and you. Subscribe and tune into the ladies in red.
Hi guys, welcome back to Ladies in Red. We are back again with another Soph and Zeo show. Seems like ages since it's just been me and you talking United. It seems like ages, Zeo. But firstly,
probably about a month.
Yeah, I know. It seems like forever, but it's Friday. You're smiling because it's Friday. I hope you're doing well. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. Just feel slightly rushed because I completely forgot I was coming up. But yeah,
it should be a priority. You should be like,
I know, yeah.
Ladies in
I'm
Red.
gonna set an alarm next time.
But obviously, we're going to be talking about United back in the league as well. Aston Villa, yet again. Did you watch the game the other night against Villa?
I did.
What did you make of it?
You know, when your team's doing all right generally, and then you have a game like that, and you still kind of get the result that you get, you're like, oh yeah, we need to win like that. Sometimes that has to happen. But knowing the position we're in, it doesn't give you much confidence. You don't feel very good about it, even though it was still a win. Do you get what I mean? So it's because we know there's major problems. It didn't feel good.
Yeah, you're right. We got the win, and obviously it's cup game, so the result mattered. Getting through to that next round, but the performance on the whole still disappointing. It's just not there, is it? It's just not there. And I saw a lot of people obviously focusing on Rashford, and we'll discuss that in a minute as well, because I think it's important we discuss Rashford. Because I'm one who normally talks quite highly of him, but
before I forget though, there was a lot of fight. There was a lot of fight from certain players in that game, which was cool. Like people were scrapping. Like it looked like he's going to turn into beef. So I was happy about that.
Yeah, we want to see a bit of tenacity in there, don't we? And a bit, like you say, a bit of desire, a bit of fight for the shirt. That's what we haven't really been seeing. And talk about desire and fight for the shirt. The captaincy is another thing that has been up there, has been discussed quite a lot. Obviously, Harry Maguire, not really everyone's pick for captain, not really the favourite at the minute, especially with his performances. Ronaldo's come out and done an interview, and a lot of people like what he's been saying on that interview as well. Do you think like Ronaldo he should be our captain? Like, would he be your ideal choice here?
When I thought about it, I thought making Ronaldo captain will upset people, but everyone's upset anyway. And the things he's saying are the right things to be saying. And like I saw someone say on Twitter, it's the captain has to set an example and it has to trickle down. So I think no matter what other people do, Ronaldo always will be, we've got to win, we've got to play better, we've got to have the right attitude, no matter what anyone else is saying. But I think Maguire is probably influenced by the rest of the team. If the rest of the team decide we're all down and we can't be asked to play, Ronaldo will never be in that mind space, but Maguire can be. So I do think Ronaldo is a better choice for captain than Maguire is, personally.
So it's better than Maguire, like, but do you think, would you put him on higher for captain?
It's hard to say, isn't it? It's hard to say. But then the thing about Ronaldo as well is like he's new, but he's not new because he's been at United before all them players were there. So it's a bit of a tricky one. I wouldn't blame the manager for doing it. I would completely understand it. And I think if you're going to have Maguire as the captain, you have to change it to Ronaldo. But if it's like out of Ronaldo and De Gea, either way, I'd back it.
It's Ronaldo. It's Ronaldo, and we all love
Ronaldo for you?
I don't know. Is he the guy I look at and think, oh, he's asking about? I don't know. He's Ronaldo, and of course we all adore Ronaldo, and everyone respects Ronaldo. I don't know. Obviously, De Gea, a lot of people believe that he should be captain as well for the longevity as well, the time that he's been there this season, player of the season, arguably. For me, he is. So far this season. It's hard, isn't it? It's hard. Would I dispute Ronaldo being given the armband? No, of course I wouldn't. Of course I wouldn't. But Bruno's another one as well. A lot of people think deserve a shout. But Bruno ain't been playing the best lately as well. I think that's something you have to throw in there, isn't it? I'll say a big up to Danny. Dan, I hope you're doing good. Hope you had a nice week. And obviously, I hope you have a good weekend. And hopefully, we're cheering on a win tomorrow. That'd be nice. And we're smiling about United. And big up to Shivan as well. Big up to Decimus. I hope you're all doing good. And big up to Lawbreaker as well. But yeah, in terms of the whole captaincy, let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Captain for half a season, because do you really think you'll be here next season? If you don't get, well, that's a good point. If you don't get European football, we've already said this. If you don't get Champions League, I can't see Ronaldo. Like, why would he want to stay us? I know he loves the club and whatnot, but he's a winner, he's a champion, and he's going to want more silverware. He's not going to settle for that, is he, Zeo?
No, yeah. So that is a point. Oh, I need to sneeze. Captain.
Bless
Captain for
you.
half a season. If he is just half a season, then it probably is a bit pointless. Like, yeah, that who was it? Lawbreaker had a major point there. It's really
Yeah.
a difficult decision because when I watch De Gea as captain, obviously I'm not on the pitch and I don't know what he's actually saying, but he doesn't look like a captain to me.
What does a captain look like?
When I see him shouting, it doesn't look like I don't get the feeling from him like, oh, they're in trouble or he's encouraging them or anything. It just seems like De Gea is saying, stop making them shoot again. Like it doesn't feel like you're in
Yeah, I
trouble
know what
when
you
De
mean.
Gea's shouting at you.
It doesn't strike you as having that like firm side to
It
him.
doesn't. It
Do you know what I
doesn't
mean?
seem
When
like
he'll
it.
give someone a bollocking if they do something wrong, for example. That's what he's saying. He doesn't seem that guy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well, I
I
do
don't
see him
know.
shouting at players, but it just when I see it on
Yeah,
the camera, it doesn't. I don't feel it. I don't feel like. Yeah, it's a weird one.
Rashford, Maguire, and Matic should all be dropped for this game. Yeah,
Maguire and
McTominay is out
Rashford
though.
definitely.
So do you think
McTominay's
Matic
out.
will come in? Yeah, McTominay obviously is going to be out. So
Oh.
he misses this game. So what would you put Matic in there? Fred and Matic though is a bit of a nightmare from past experiences. To be honest with you, two left footers in there. We'll discuss lineups in a minute anyway. I've threw a spanner in yeah, that's to mix you up a bit in it. But yeah, he's not going to be there. So there's a difference between shouting like Maguire and being a leader, and someone who shouts is a full lead by example, by how you're playing exactly. Now that's why I put on Bruno. Even though I love Bruno, he hasn't really been playing that well too. So that's the argument in terms of him being given the armband as well for me. Hello to Callum. Hope you're doing good. Said I did have a good Christmas. I did thank you, and I hope you did as well. Hope you had a good one. Happy New Year to you as well. Ronaldo needs a good team to be good these days, and that's why he's failing at United. He can't do it on his own. I know he's Ronaldo, but he can't do it on his own, Zeo, and that is a point as well. A lot of people saying Ronaldo is the problem. Ronaldo didn't play the other night against Aston Villa, and we're still not playing well. I mean, we've
Exactly.
said it many times in here. He's not the problem, is he?
No way. And people say Bruno was the problem, and you can see the difference when Bruno isn't playing as well. Like people just sometimes I'm convinced that Man United fans just hate all Man United players, and they just want to throw it on whatever player they can. Like it's not even rival
There's
fans that are
always a new
saying these
scapegoat.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Ronaldo's definitely like without Ronaldo, what was it? Mid-table and out the Champions League already. So how is that the problem?
Yeah.
Like
And he's missed the Champions League, so who
and
knows?
then
Who
how
knows?
can you complain and say Rashford should be dropped and Ronaldo's the problem? Because if Ronaldo wasn't there, Rashford would be playing even more. So
What
do you
is
get
it
what I
with
mean?
Rashford at the minute? Look, I'm not going to sit here and slate the player because I don't do that. But Rashford, there's obviously an issue. There's obviously something wrong with it at the minute, and whether it's something off the field, I don't know what it is. But in terms of his football at the moment, he looks like he needs a rest. He looks like down in the dumps. It looks like his confidence is on the floor. The clip the other day where I think the ball bounces out, doesn't it? And Rashford's just caught on his heels and he just stands there and literally just watches the keeper crawl and pick it up.
Yeah.
You don't want to see that. You don't want to see that. But I think that kind of shows his mentality at the minute. I think we've seen it for a long time with Rashford. The excuse was before that he was injured, and obviously he was playing through his injuries. He went and obviously got the surgery that he needed. He's come back. And like I say, it just doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem right. And I know there's a player in there, and I'm sure he'll bounce back. And obviously, I'll fully support him in that. But I do believe he needs to be taken out of the limelight a little bit because I think definitely the other night people were really getting on his back. Because the lack of desire, it just doesn't seem like it seems like it's the last place he wants to be at the minute in the Man United shirt.
The booed him when he came off as well, didn't he? Which is that's sad to do to Rashford, whether he's playing
It's
good
sad,
or not.
yeah.
Yeah. Like you don't do that to Rashford. One thing I want to say though is parts in that game because for ages I haven't seen Rashford taking on players, and at least three moments in that game he proper tried. You remember he used to do that I don't know what you call it, that
Flip
flicky
flap,
thing with it,
flip
and he
flap.
did it like
Yeah.
twice, and I was thinking, oh, he's actually trying to take on players again. So I don't know
He
if
started rightly.
yeah, so I don't know if he's decided he needs to put more effort in and he needs to go at players and try and take them on, even if he's not sure he's going to get past them and stuff like that. Because I saw bits of it. So I don't know. I think Rashford will come good. I think he will come good. But booing him off, that you don't do that to Rashford. You don't do that.
But I think at the same time, I understand the frustration because you're seeing a player there, this is the ball's trickling out. If that's Cavani, if that's Ronaldo, they're on their
Yeah.
toes and they're putting a foot in there. They don't care if they get hurt. You know what I mean? They're putting a foot in and they're challenging for that. Rashford's on his heels and he's stropping at the fact that Greenwood hasn't squared it to him. And of course, I get the frustration in that. I understand it. But you're playing for United. He's got a point to prove as well because there's been pressure mounted on Rashford for a bit now because his performances just haven't been there. And for him not to react, like it's frustrating for the fans as well. Of course, you want to see him putting his foot in there. I think we've seen it a few times this season, not just from Rashford, from other players, and we've questioned their desire for the shirt. And you have to say, like with Rashford, like he just doesn't look up for it at the minute for whatever reason. And like I say, I hope that he bounces back, and I'm sure he will because I'm a big Rashford fan, and I'm not going to sit here and say sell him or loan him, and some of the other disgusting stuff I saw on Twitter after that game because we should be supporting him. But
Part of
yeah,
football
it
intelligence as
shouldn't be
well.
starting. It shouldn't be
Part of
starting at the
football
minute.
intelligence says Greenwood's running towards goal. Greenwood is not going to pass. Like everyone on
Cool.
that team knows he's not going to pass. So in Rashford's mind, it should be he's not going to pass. Don't get upset by it. You know he's not going to pass. So be
Yeah.
ready for the rebound or expect Greenwood to score. So I don't get the strap about it. He should have been there ready because I knew Greenwood wasn't going to pass.
Well, it was like the
I
flip
feel
in
like
the first half, wasn't that? Where Rashford was like clean through. Should have played it a bit earlier. Should have played the square ball a bit earlier. He took an extra few touches, and it was too late really. And then he tried to put it to Greenwood and like put it back past the post in that
yeah,
first half. Greenwood didn't get like have a strop about it. You know, yeah, probably let him know. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
But like,
yeah.
it was a similar situation really. You can't just be having a strop. Like, being a professional footballer for United,
No,
and you've got a point
no,
to prove as well. Wasn't like the game was done and dusted, was it? Do you know what I mean? Like we were lucky. Like Villa had plenty of chances, disallowed goals and whatnot as well. Do you
yeah.
think Villa were robbed, Theo? Do you think they were
I
robbed?
think, yeah, I was watching that thinking, yo, I don't know how we stay. I thought we was going to lose. I thought we was going to lose. It got to a stage I was thinking, I don't think they're going to come back. I think they're going to come back and score 2. So I wouldn't say they were robbed on that decision where they were looking at the handball and then looking at the push and then looking at the.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think Cavani was obstructed, and if Cavani didn't get obstructed, he would have been in the position to clear that header. He would have cleared that. He would have been there. So I think it was a foul. I really do.
yeah,
Like he was obstructed, and he would have been in that position. He was running back there.
yeah.
I
You know
don't.
what? The booing, I get. Like say, fans are fickle, aren't they? Like one minute they're booing, and one minute they're applauding. Like depending on their performance. The booing, not so much. It's more the abuse that I've seen all over Twitter and stuff, and saying sell him and whatnot. That's what I have been like seeing. Booing, like fans do it. Fans do it. And it's not nice, of course. Like you say, it's not nice to see, but fans do it. Fans are fans, and fans are entitled to opinions, and I get that. But afterwards on Twitter, and you're just seeing people like saying sell him, like they're forgetting what Rashford is capable of. Do you know what I mean? Like there was times when Rashford's carried us with his goals, and people forget about that. Post like before his injury, he was carrying us at times with his goals going forwards, and then obviously for whatever reason his form dipped. A lot of people felt it was his injury, but it's seeming more now that it's deeper than that. It seems like it's something. I don't know, something on his mind or something off the pitch that's affected his performances. It just doesn't seem like he's in the right headspace at the minute, and it is sad to see that from any player. From any player, of course it is. But I'm just hoping he bounces back. And like I've already said, he's a good player. You don't just turn bad overnight. And I'm just hoping that he can turn it around. He's still young, and I'm sure he can do that. But I do think we kind of got to back him as well. You know, Ralph needs to
That's
put an arm around him.
that is my issue. I feel like Rashford's not that player that you boo and he comes back stronger. I don't know if I'm looking at it different now,
Yeah,
but I feel like we're at a point where our team is struggling with morale. How is booing off a player that we want
true.
to come good,
I was going to
that
lift him.
was
Yeah,
trying at points and then wasn't trying at points? How is booing off someone like him going to help him? It's
yeah.
not. That's why I don't agree with the booing Rashford off, because I just think I don't know. But obviously,
Yeah.
people can do what they want. But I just don't think that's going to help Rashford and United as a whole right now.
I mean, I'd like to sit here and think that he just shine his own out and he doesn't notice that. But if you've got 80,000 fans doing it, it's kind of hard to ignore that, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, they must hear it, and he must affect confidence. And like you say, his confidence is clearly already on the floor for whatever reason as well. But it's just sad. It's just sad to see that. But there's been other rumours going about. We'll move on from Rashford. But
Look what
boy,
Wax said. Look what Wax said.
where's that?
He's on about me.
Yeah, there was a resemblance. There's a resemblance. I can't lie. Can you do the like? You need to do the elastico and stuff you use Harlow. You step overs. You get skill player as a half. But yeah, we talk about rumours, transfers, because we haven't really, like you said, it's been a while since we've actually had a conversation about United. So, boy, the rumours are AC Milan want him on loan.
That's mad to me.
Would
That's
you do that?
madness. Right now, with how we're so unsure with our centre backs and everything, not a chance, mate. Not a chance.
Being unsure, Phil Jones is back.
Okay. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're so unsure. And when Bailly does play, majority of the time, we're always like, oh, Bailly needs to get a run of games. Bailly's been doing well.
But he can't get a run of games because he's injured all the time.
But like, what are we going to do? So, imagine the position we'd be in now if we didn't have Bailly this whole time. Even the games he has played. I just think I don't know. I don't like it. I just think we're so unsure at the back right now. We're getting rid of one and not bringing one in. Nah.
So Boy goes. Phil Jones steps into his place as the
How long?
rotation centre back.
Because if you say
It's the
Bayer's
same
an
for both
injury
those, isn't it?
player, if you say Bayer's an injury player, then what is Phil Jones, Mr. Glass?
Imagine a year ago someone saying we'd have Jones and Varane as a centre back pairing. It's going to happen. You know, this weekend, in all seriousness, apparently Jones was rested more so than being injured, so he could possibly start this weekend. He was solid, like say, in the last game he played against Wolves. Would you start him over Maguire at this point in time? Because Maguire has been dreadful. I would start. Oh, that would be my partnership. Genuinely, I would go for it.
We're at a stage with this team that anybody who wants to try and put their heart in and dive at the ball and put some oomph behind tackles can get into that team, because everyone else has decided they're not doing it. So that's all Jones has got over these players right now. He's going to kill himself on the pitch. So yeah, definitely play him. He needs to be in that team.
Put him in there. And what's your thoughts as well? Obviously, we're playing Aston Villa. They've just signed Coutinho. They've signed Digne as well. They're doing some decent business, to be fair, and they're both obviously been signed in time, I believe, to play against us as well.
We'll beat them again.
You're that confident, yeah?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're going to slowly start getting better from now. And I think even that Villa game, even though it was a tough watch and we did scrape the win, I thought we saw parts of players actually giving a bit of effort. I know Rashford didn't, but there was McTominay, which is a shame that he's not there. And I just thought you saw players like diving, like they were fighting. It was turning into a fight. There was arguments and stuff like that. And I was just thinking, yeah, it looks like there's a bit of desire there. And I think it's going to start building. I think we'll beat them again.
So true. 10 years ago, and we're great now. Pink boots and Varane at the back. Let's do it. What was your thoughts on Varane's performance of the day? Because obviously Varane has had his own injuries at United at the minute, so he's been very up and down in terms of his start to his career at United. I thought he looked solid the other night, to be honest. I thought he looked quality. There was one where he's kind of won the ball back and done a little back heel layoff in the same motion. I don't even know how he did that.
I'm trying to remember.
But yeah,
I
thought he was fairly solid. And I think with a run of games, as you mentioned about Boye earlier, I think with Varane, because like I say, he has been quite inconsistent with injuries and whatnot. I think for him to get a run of games as well would be really crucial to us. But we need to find his partner as well. And if it is Phil Jones, then I'm all for it. But I think a consistent partner for him is what we need. And like I say, right now on form, Jones deserves to start over Harry Maguire for me. Whether he will is another thing, but he deserves to.
He does deserve to start, but Jones ain't going to play 3 games in a row, is he? That's my issue. I don't believe he's going to be able to play 3 games in a row. And getting rid of Bailly when Maguire's playing so badly and Jones is going to get injured any moment now. He's probably getting injured as we speak. I just don't see it. I don't get it. What's after that? I don't get it. I don't know.
GT said that Villa looked brilliant the other night, so he's worried. I agree. And Varane is showing he's a head and shoulders above everyone else at the back. Very classy. He looked really classy, but not like I say that little swift, like it kind of like won the ball back in the box, swiveled and backheeled it at the same time. Just calm as you like. Rashford is a good player. The things he's going off the pitch is good, but I think he's concentrating too much on his PR and it's killing his football ability. It could be. There's definitely something there. There's something that's affecting him. I'm just hoping that he can sort the issues out and just get his mind back on his football, because we know how good of a player he can be on his day.
He's probably the one that's upset that Lingard ain't playing. He's like, bro, if you're not playing, I ain't playing.
Yeah, Mama ain't playing. What do you think about Lingard, though? Do you think he'll leave?
He needs to.
Do you think he'll go?
He needs to, because how many times can a man post a picture of him in another team's kit? Like, he's taking the absolute mick. If Pogba did that, fans would drag Pogba out of what you call it, Carrington. Yeah, they'll drag him out. Like, I don't get how Lingard's got away with it. He's like a little bit of outrage. Like, I don't get it. When he came on, I was angry because I was just thinking this guy should not be anywhere near this team. Twice he's done it.
I'll take that. My FIFA defending over Harry Maguire and my FIFA defending is shocking. Shocking. Lawbreaker, I'll back you up on that one, Ashid, as well. Obviously, and anyone else who tunes into my FIFA, you'll know that my defending is shocking. But I'd still put myself over Harry Maguire right now. At this point, I'd rather play one of the wing backs like Wan-Bissaka or Tellez at centre back. Imagine Wan-Bissaka at centre back. Every time he gets the ball, you'd have an absolute heart attack. Like, it makes me so nervous on the ball when he's out wide, but in a central position, I just can't. No, I can't even begin to imagine that, to be honest with you. So you're against Boye going then? That's going to keep him dropping that.
Unless we're going to bring someone in.
Yeah. But
if we're not bringing,
realistically, I'm trying to think like realistic options for centre back. Obviously, Tuanzebe's gone out on loan, so he's gone on loan for the season now. So realistically, looking out there, like, is there any centre backs that we can be bringing in that are available right now? Do you know what I mean? I just can't see us replacing him if he does go.
It doesn't need to be a top world class centre back, does it? It needs to be someone that's by his status around that doesn't get injured. Because if we had a consistent Bailly, that would be our centre back, wouldn't it? I think everyone would agree with that. So
yeah,
I think there's going to be loads of centre backs out there that can fill Bailly's shoes.
Yeah, Koundé is a good shout, but he was obviously linked with Chelsea massively in the summer.
And that's a top class. That's gonna Man United ain't doing that.
Koundé and Varane.
Yeah,
we can dream. Yeah, it is open door policy. Attack is my best form of defense. I keep saying it. That's my motto. I attack. Just try and outscore the opposition because I'm going to concede regardless. So it's pointless trying to sit in. I'd have Luke Shaw. He can play there and Tellers on the left. To be fair, Luke Shaw's played as part of a back three a few times, hasn't he? Like that left centre back.
Why are you here anymore? Why? I don't get it.
It's the injuries. I think it's a frustration because, like you say, every time he plays, you get hyped up because you're thinking, "Oh, look how good he is," and then he's injured again. Like, it's just so inconsistent with injuries. It's frustrating. And imagine being Varane and constantly having to change your partner next to you. Like, it'd be frustrating for him. You want a consistent centre back partnership, and yeah, so that's why I can understand the whole Boye thing. Of course, Boye is one that I just hope he can stay fit, and I think he can be outstanding. But unfortunately, with the Premier League, with the amount of games that they have to play, Boye just hasn't been fit enough to compete on a consistent basis, and it's sad, but it's true, unfortunately. Jack, big up to yourself. I know Brighton versus Palace is on tonight. I'm going to definitely check that out after this stream. Donny van de Beek. Ralph's come out and said that he wants him to stay. Obviously, he knows that he wants to play in the World Cup at the end of this year. So he said to me he wants him to stay and hopefully he'll break into the team and get some more game time. Do you believe that?
No, I don't. I just think, and even if it is true, if I was Donny, I would not risk it. It's took the mick. I saw the stat about Phil Jones has played more minutes than Van der Beek already, and I'm just like that. I feel bad for him. I don't know if it's his baby face or whatever. I just feel like you need to go and live out your career somewhere, because I wouldn't waste another year at Man United with false promises. They don't seem to want him in that team, or the position they want him to play in. It's like they maybe they want him to play in Bruno's position, like people were saying at the start when he first came, and he doesn't look great in Bruno's position for me. He looks good in Fred or McTominay's position as the box-to-box player. So I just don't get it. And I just think for him and his career, World Cup coming up, you need to go somewhere and play some football ASAP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And bold statement from Acid. Zeo, I don't want Boye, Pogba, Lingard, Martial, Fred, McTominay, Matic, pretty much the squad, Rashford, here any more viruses of the club. What's your thoughts on that, Zeo?
McTominay, a virus of the club, I'm going to say definitely no. I do not agree with that. I think he's one of the heartbeats of the club at the moment. He might not be good enough, but I think he's one of them people that is setting an example for Man United. Like, you don't hear him talking much to the press. You don't see him tweeting much. He's just playing football and diving into tackles like a madman. So all the rest of the names, all of the rest of the names I can't really argue with at this moment in time. But McTominay, I'm going to say no, I don't agree.
Fair point. And McTominay's one of them. I know he's not. I think it's hard to say, the viruses of the club, because it's all a bit like there's so many agendas, you know what I mean, with the media, with the press. I think it's harsh. I think I'd sit there and say, you know what, and I said this the other day, the way I feel about United at the minute, I literally feel like sell them all and start again. That's my mindset.
Though. Do you feel like McTominay's in that, when you really think about it, is he really in that bunch of people that are really pissing you off?
I would say I'm one of the small amount of people who've defended McTominay several times, because I feel like he's one of them players that you need in your squad. Whether he starts every game is a different thing, but I think he's one of the players that you need in your squad, because, as you mentioned, he knows United through and through. He's got that fight, that desire. He always steps up to the plate, like, with his physicality in there. He always puts himself about. Whether he's playing shocking, he still puts himself about, and I think sometimes you need that. And you've already said it there, like, his mindset is just he wants to win. He wants this club to win. And whether he's good enough to take us there, obviously, is another thing. Of course, I'm saying that. But I think he's a squad player. He's a player that we should have in our squad. But yeah, that's how frustrated I've just felt at the minute. Like, there's not one player that I'd sit here and say, "I'll keep him." That's how how angry I felt at this squad.
McTominay, you just said.
But even like, do you know what I mean? Like, some games I've looked at McTominay and I'm pulling my hair at him and Fred, and I'm thinking, why are you trying to play that pass? Do you know what I mean? Or
But that's
nobody's
probably
been perfect.
That's because he's being depended on because he's becoming a first teamer, first starter for a team where he shouldn't really be that. So that's not really his fault, if you get what I mean. He should be a squad player.
Exactly, a squad. That's what I'm saying. I'm not sitting here saying he should start every game. I don't think he's good enough to do that. But I like his attitude. I think he'll always come on and do a job for the team. He'll do the dirty work. Do you know what I mean? And that's why I think he's a player that we should have. He seems like, for me, that kind of a bit like Jordan Henderson at Liverpool. I always say I can't stand him because I think he's a bit of a brown nose. He's always like looking towards the bench to say, like, acknowledge what I've just done, kind of thing. He's one of them. Do you know what I mean? I think McTominay is one of them. You know, we call it a SWAT at school when I'm teaching. That kid who sits at front, yes, miss, what do you want me to do, miss? Do you want me to hand out the books, miss? That's what McTominay's like.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? And I think you need someone like that, though.
Yeah, I
think you need someone like that. But he's not a glamorous player. He's not the type who'd stand out. I'd say he's one of them where you probably get 7 out of 10 every week, 8 out of 10. Consistent performances. But like I say, I think in order to be a top midfielder, in order to play for Manchester United and win things, I think you need to be better than McTominay. I think you need to have a bit more to your game. But he's, for me, the presence in the squad, in the change rooms and whatnot, and like I say, his attitude, I think he's almost a perfect role model to kids coming through because he just steps up to the plate week in, week out. Like I say, consistent performances, not outstanding, but consistent. Yeah, but I agree with what a lot of people are saying here.
Acid's just going in on him. Acid's just like
selling.
Acid's just like, no.
I wouldn't say he has one good game in 10. I know what you're saying. He'll probably have one worldie in 10. But for the other 9, for me, he's probably a 7 out of 10. Do you know what I mean? I think he's consistent. I think there's been players who've been a lot worse than him. And I do think him and Fred in there as well. Obviously, we say McFred all the time. Like, to be fair, they linked up the other day for the goal. They linked up for the goal the other day. But in general, McFred just isn't good enough. It just doesn't work, does it? No. And I think we have to take that into account. Put McTominay in there with a better player, and you might think different of him. And the same with Fred. But they don't complement each other, in my opinion. That's it on McTominay.
7 out of 10 is too high. A big section on him.
I know. 7 out of 10 is more like a 5 out of 10. I don't know. I think it's higher than that. He's not a glamorous player. Like I say, he's not the type that's going to, I don't know, the skills, start doing the elastico, let's say I mentioned earlier, or you know what I mean, or doing overhead kicks and stuff like that. One thing I will say, though, is he has got a shot on him.
He definitely, even, was it even in the Villa game, he almost scored again? And then that volley as well, was it the same game?
Yeah. He can't pass, but he can shoot. Let's say that, actually. He can't pass.
And he can pass as well. I think he can pass. He does mess up passes, but so does Bruno.
Yeah.
I think
you know what, in general, it's hard to talk about McTominay and focus on him, but like you said, there's been many players who just haven't been, their passing's been poor, they haven't really controlled, do you know what I mean? Basics have just been shocking from us across the board, and that's where you know there's big issues, because you haven't even been able to put 3 passes together. You watch any other game in the Premier League, and I mean any other game, even Burnley, and the intensity has been better, the quality of the play has been better. Like, that's how bad we have looked.
Well, every team does it against us, don't they? We always make a team look way better, and the pressure that we are under when we're playing teams, it's really ridiculous. I don't understand it. And then we get the ball, and it's like, if we're not counter-attacking quickly, we can't hold on to it. Other than passing it along our back 4, it's really embarrassing. Yeah,
it is embarrassing, and I'm just hoping that we do start to see improvements. Obviously, leaks have started coming out of the dressing room about certain players arguing and stuff like that. Like, Ronaldo's just come out and done this interview as well. I'm hoping that the air's been cleared now. Maybe this needed to happen, and I'm just hoping that we can turn a corner and we can start to go on a bit of a run, because we're lucky to be where we are, considering the performances that we've had, in my opinion. Very, very lucky. And it just comes down to the fact that we have got Ronaldo as well. As you mentioned, his goals, especially earlier in the season, have been crucial to the fact that we've managed to maintain our position. Because it could have been so much worse for us with the way that we've been playing as well. League One, I will get him on one day, definitely. I'm a fan of League. Just never really got round to it. But yeah, maybe next time we play Arsenal, I'll have a chat with him. He's good going forward, but defensively not that great because he doesn't close down players, says Siobhan. Yeah, he's not the out-and-out CDM, though, is he, McTominay, as well? And that's another thing. Would you say he's more of a box-to-box player? Was that suit him? Because I like, when I like McTominay best is when he picks up the ball from deep and he does those driving runs. He seems to breeze past. When he gets into his stride, he seems to breeze past players.
Yeah. And
that's when he's effective.
sometimes the defense will pass it into him and he'll quickly turn and run past people as well.
Yeah.
He does seem to have better games when he's playing box to box and he's on the edge of the box taking shots and things like that. Even if he doesn't score, he seems to have better games when he's doing that. And I think in a team that's all firing with McTominay playing box to box, I feel like people would see him in a different light because his mistakes wouldn't be as what's the word you call it, like detrimental. His mistakes wouldn't be like, oh my god, and now they've gone and scored and now we're losing. Like, it wouldn't be that because we'd all be firing. So it'd be like, oh, he's made a mistake. Like, every player makes mistakes in the Premier League, but our players making mistakes are very noticeable because we're not doing much when we're not making, like, most of our. Oh, I know what I'm trying to say. I can't even say it.
I think this is a good point, though. To be fair, too many low football IQ players means no decent movement and wrong pass selection. Yeah, so we almost have to. We overthink everything. You look at like the City; they're all on the same wavelength. They know that, for example, if Cancelo gets it, there's an option. Then there's always options for the player on the ball. We get it. It's almost like we're waiting for them to beat 2 or 3 players before we do anything. Like, we don't take any risks with our play. It's very rare that we'll get a ball in between the lines successfully. And yeah, I agree with that. We almost look like we're clueless. Do you know what I mean? We're not clicking. Everyone's not on the same page at the minute. We look like we've got no phases to play.
Yeah, I did notice as well some players making, like, when a player's running forward, someone will make a run that kind of cuts off the run that they're making, and it's like you should have ran the other way type of. And I'm just like,
I think we're not proactive, we're reactive. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's times when you're thinking you should have already been spinning and behind. Yeah.
Which is why players are on the heels for rebounds and stuff like that, because it's reactive. Except for people like Cavani, who knows, no, I've just got to run in there anyway. But Mourinho used to say that, didn't he? And especially about Luke Shaw in particular. Like, he used to say when he played, like, he said that he had to tell him everywhere where to stand on the pitch and where to make runs and stuff like that every second. So
yeah. Shivan said things like, how can it come down to coaching though when we've had numerous coaches trying to teach these players? Do you know what I mean? That's the only thing I will say. I do think that tactically, of course, errors, but it makes you question the mentality of these players. It just does. And actually, that's probably the comment of the video as well regarding the low IQ players.
So, it could be if it was to do with coaching. Sorry, I forgot what we were saying there. I was going to say
we're on about the fact that we're not reactive. I mean, we're reactive, sorry, not proactive. Do you think that comes down to coaching or down to
coaches are coming in? If coaches are coming in and players are having the same attitude that they're having to Ralph like 2 weeks ago, but it isn't coming out that way. Do you get what I mean? Because it's come out for Ralph, but maybe they've been like that with each manager that's coming, where they're not really listening. Like Ralph said, well, they're at least listening, which suggested that they're not trying to do it and they probably don't like it, but they're at least listening to what he's saying, but they're not doing it. So maybe it was the same for when Ollie, when he first came, and then Ollie realized, if I don't kind of let them do what they want to do, as well as try and put some of my tactics in, they're not going to do it. So I don't know. It could be we haven't had a coach that actually that knows how to get their message across and keep people happy and make sure they're doing what they say and be disciplined. I don't know. When you play Football Manager and you look at the coaches and they've got all these stats, we need a 20-20-20-20-20 coach. Like,
Aikman said there, as much as I think Paul Pogba's attitude and his unwillingness to be at United is a problem, I agree with the whole contract situation and whatnot. It's all just still up in the air. It's frustrating. He's obviously going. He says, but I'm thinking we're starting to miss him there because we lack quality in the midfield. I do think we miss his creativity, definitely. But yeah, he still hasn't signed that contract, Zeo.
No. And I'm Pogba's biggest fan. Like, he's my favourite player probably in the world at the moment. And I just think if you're not signing the contract, then you might as well leave. But Man United need to replace him because we are lacking with when he plays. There's a difference. Yes, it's true, but they don't fancy him, do they? They don't see him as that player. When he plays, there's always 1 or 2 passes that are just key passes that are goal scoring opportunities, and that I feel like is a big major difference in some of our games right now. Them passes from deep that Pogba passes. Bruno does it sometimes, but Pogba and Bruno doing it, we always end up with loads of chances. Ronaldo would have more goals, I think. I just think we'd be doing better in general. So he's obviously not wanting to stay. So they need somebody that can pass. And for me, it's that Wolves player.
Neves.
Yeah.
I would take Neves. I would take Neves. Ashley said, serious question, just said curiosity, who listened to the Ronaldo interview? I did. He really battered the players, saying that they're the issue and not the coaches.
I didn't even listen to it, but geez.
To be fair, like the coaches are new still. Obviously, a lot of people slating Ralph. I saw TalkSport tweeted something saying like he could be the worst interim manager ever and all this stuff, and he's literally
Whoa.
only been here for a short amount of time. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think we've got to give him the benefit of the doubt. He hasn't been here for long. I think he has kind of had a shake up, and I think the players needed that. And I'm not going to knock him for that. And I think that's why a lot of fans have kind of turned on the players a little bit, because we realise you can't just keep sacking the manager. The players at some point have to take a bit of accountability, and that time has come. And I'm just hoping that they respond to that, the players, and prove their worth ultimately. That's what I want to see. And I'm hoping that we get like a free performance against Villa at the weekend. I'm hoping that we go at them a little bit and we just show what we're capable of. Because I think this season, other than probably what the Leeds game, arguably the Newcastle game, we haven't shown what we are capable of going forward. So look at the amount of attacking flair we've got. I mean, like mentioned earlier, we've just looked clueless. We've been reactive rather than proactive. Hopefully we can be on the front foot. But Villa are going to be up for it because they're going to feel hard done by after what happened the other night.
And they feel like they're a better team now. They've made 2 amazing signings. They're going to feel like we slapped them last time and we were unlucky. So this time we're going to definitely slap them. So they're going to be definitely up for it. Back to what you said about... I just think... Surely a fix for Man United is playing players that deserve to be played. I know right now it's looking like no one deserves to be played, but there were stages where it was like, this player should be playing over this player, but it was never happening. So that's going to demotivate your players that are trying, because they're going to think, whether I try or not, I'm not getting into this team.
Favourites, yeah.
So I just think, surely that is the fix. You are not playing. You are not playing good. I don't care. His status isn't as big as yours, but he's actually trying on the pitch. So he's playing. Surely that's the start of building
so start
a team.
Elanga over Rashford then, for example.
Because that is the start of building a team that's going to have people trying to impress and trying to play to get into the team. But if you just have players that are just like, no matter what I do today, I'm in this team next week. I could get a red card. I'm still playing. Do you get what I mean? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. And I just think until that stops happening, I don't see how people are going to get motivated and think, yeah, man, my performance gets me into this team.
Yeah.
It seems like you need to make friends with the right person to get into the team right now.
It's frustrating. It does seem like favourites. Like Rashford, like I say, needs to be dropped. I'm a big Rashford fan, but right now he needs to be taken out of the limelight a little bit. Maybe he can come on as a sub and make a difference. Maguire shouldn't have started for me. I'd start Jones over him. I've already said that.
Yeah.
But favourites,
they're the main 2, really, ain't they? They're the main 2.
Yeah. Villa will be well up for it, and I wish Dean all the best there. He's gone to a good club with a bright future, says James. Dean obviously fell out with Benitez. I think he had a bit of a tweet towards him when he left as well, didn't he? Unfortunately. And big up to Curlers, who's just joined us. Curlers, I hope you're doing good. And Football Crew said Rashford under Ferguson would have been put out on loan to boost up his confidence. Good point. It's a good point. He needs something because his confidence at the minute is on the floor. I know he tweeted pictures of him smiling and whatnot. Maybe that's him saying, you know what, I'm feeling better. Miraculously, like, you know what I mean? Miraculously, 2 days later, he's better. But I don't care. I just want to see Rashford back smiling, back putting in the performances that we know he's capable of. And right now, he deserves to be dropped. And I would start Elanga, genuinely. Or obviously Sancho, of course. But
it's
Elanga,
not like we lack players to put in the position as well. It's not like, we ain't got no one to put there. We've got players that can play there. Elanga, when he came on and did that run towards the end of the Villa game, to me that shows, you can do what we're asking Rashford to do then. Run past the player. That you can do it. So I don't get it. Until that gets fixed, I don't see Man United being fixed. I really don't. The last thing I've got on hope and it being fixed without them stop doing the favoritism thing is getting a quality CDM in there. If they do that, that could fix it. But if a CDM comes in and it's still happening, it's to do with the favoritism.
Yeah. Certain players need dropping. I'd agree with that. And be interesting to see what does happen with Maguire tomorrow, to be fair. We'll see what happens. We'll keep all eyes on that one. We'll see. But you know what? If he starts as an absolute worldie, I'll be like, fair play to him. Do you know what I mean? I want to see him succeed.
Oh, yeah, for him.
Will.
But for the manager, I won't. I'll still be pissed at the manager because I'll be like, you shouldn't have took that risk. Shouldn't have took that risk. Why is he starting? I don't care.
He probably shouldn't be, but he's captain. So
you know captain, it doesn't matter how a captain plays then, does it? That's basically...
That's how he's been so far. I'm just judging it on that. He just doesn't seem to drop Maguire, does he? But we'll see. But guys, in the chat, let us know your score predictions. Obviously, we're at Villa Park tomorrow. Villa against Manchester United. I'm going to put Zeo on the spot in a second as well and ask him what his score prediction is. You weren't confident early. You were like, we're going to beat them again.
I do think
They're away from home. They've got the new signings. They'll be up for it against us as well.
They're scoring this time, though. They are scoring this time, so it's. You know what? Will we draw? Nah, I'm gonna say
Doubting it now. That confidence is just
3-2.
shrinking a bit.
3-2. There we go. It's 3-2 because they're scoring this time.
2-1 to Villa, says Curlers. I am worried. I'll be honest, I'm worried. But you know me, I'll never ever bet against United. So I'm still going to go for a United win. But I do think they'll concede, like you said. 2-1 to United. I'm going to flip this one. I'm going to say 2-1 to United. Maybe 1-1 until the end, and we'll get like a lucky goal. VAR might help us out a little bit or something like that. But yeah, I'm going to go for a 2-1 United. But I'm not confident in that. I'm just not going to bet against my team. I've more confidence predicting you 6-4 scores in FIFA. Yeah, this is a hard one to call. I'm saying 2-2 Villa United. Would you be happy with a draw?
No.
Good answer.
No.
Just checking.
No.
2-1 to Aston Villa. Villa Park will be rocking. It will. 2-0 to Villa, said Acid. A lot of people against it. Shimon's gone 2-1 to United. We really need to try and get players in the mentality of a Keane, etc. before we win again. A 3-0 to United. That would be nice. 3-1.
Acid just said that Donny van der Beek's going to play.
I hope he does. After Ralph's comments, though, to be fair, that's not actually like we've all sat here and said, "Oh no, we think Ralph's lying about Donny van der Beek and that." But maybe he said that with it in mind, that knowing that he's starting him at the weekend.
Okay, and I know that.
Do you know what I
Acid's
mean?
the
That would
type of
make
guy
sense
as well. Acid's the type of guy that's going to at me. I know he. As soon as he's on that.
Told you. Yeah, straight away.
Yeah.
He's already clipped it. He's already clipped you saying.
I remember when I said that I would drink acid if something happened, and he was atting me saying, "Yo, you might have to drink the acid."
2-1 to United. If Boy plays 4-3, and I'm not sure who to. Pretty much sums up Boy, to be fair. That's it, Boy impact. Yeah, I think we might just about scrape it, but I do think Villa will be up for it. And I do think we'll have to ride our luck if it is that we get the win. But I never bet against us. And finger crossed we can turn up and put in a performance worthy for a United team, because so far it's just been abysmal. And
The
you know what?
internet's going to be wild if we lose. It's going to be
yeah,
wild.
and if we lose with a performance of that nature as well, it's going to be
be wild online. Yeah,
definitely. But Zeo, it's been a great show. It's been class to talk to you again, guys. We are live. Well, I'm live with Maisie after the game tomorrow. Zeo, obviously you're free to join us as well. We're doing a little cool down, responding to the game, and hopefully we'll be smiling about a win. If you're not winning, then it's going to be definitely an interesting show. But yeah, so hopefully you can join us then after the game. But yeah, thank you so much, Zeo, for coming on. Let people know where they can find you on socials.
At Zeo Leonardo, anything, Insta, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. I've just got my fingers crossed that we're at the bottom of the roller coaster and it's going click, click, click right now, because I don't want to be on the fun bit of the roller coaster. I don't want to be coming down. I'm just really hoping, and I feel like I saw glimpses of it in the last game, so I'm hoping we're going to see more of it in this game. I just want a bit of positive. I just want to see a bit of positivity. I'm not saying come out and be amazing Man United that we used to. I'm saying come out and just show me something to be a bit happy about. So fingers crossed, we're all in it together. Donny starts. Acid ats me. Please.
But we win. We all win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fingers crossed for that, like you say. Positive result, positive performance as well is much needed, isn't it? And make sure you go and follow Zeo on all socials. Don't miss anything, obviously, with your music as well. Taking names, enjoying those shows, and we'll do a United one. I promise we'll sort one of them out. Maybe next week, to be fair. I'll drop you a message about that. It's been a bit up in the air this week with my new job and that, but we'll sort it definitely. And obviously, if you haven't already, guys, make sure you follow me, Soph Richo with a kiss on the end of it on Instagram. And yeah, ladies in red. So if you haven't already, please hit that sub button as well. I'd appreciate that. We'll be back tomorrow after the game. Hopefully we get the win. But until then, stay positive, have a good weekend, and we will see you soon.